Hi, I'm JP.
And I'm Adam.
I've never seen Lost.
I have.
I'm told that it's good.
I liked it.
I'm told that it made sense.
Sort of.
But we're watching it out of order.
So it definitely won't make sense.
But it might still be good. Since we won't expect it to make sense, we'll still be able to appreciate each episode on its own merits as a 1-hour story.
Sometimes 2 or 3.
As opposed to just a fraction of an ongoing, sprawling, and increasingly complex tangle of relationships, personal stories, mysteries, mythologies, experiments, social dynamics, unnatural disasters, unanswered questions, and hot tropical hookups.
Are you okay?
I'm not sure.
Because you lost me a little bit there at the end.
Well, good, because I've been lost since the beginning. We're lost on Lost.
Welcome, everybody, to Lost on Lost. I'm JP Russell, and I'm joined, as always, by a man who has the decency to die quietly, Adam Busher.
That's me, baby. I die quietly, and I die every day. So
That's just called your 30s, baby. Adam, so this episode, Tabula Rasa, right, is named after the theory that individuals are born without built-in mental content or predisposition. See, all of that knowledge comes from experience and perception, and I just wanted to let you know that I didn't look that up. I've just always known that. Today we're talking about Tabula Rasa, the third episode of season 1 and the third episode of Lost overall. Our centric characters, everyone's favorite fun fugitive Annie, Kate Austin. Tabula Rasa takes place on the second, third, and fourth days after the crash of Oceanic Flight 815. Adam, do you have a recap?
I certainly do.
Let's hear it.
Nice tent! Who shot the airplane? On the island, it's like the middle section survivors just got here. Oh yeah, they did. Dr. Jack Shepard struggles to save the life of wounded U.S. Marshal Edward Mars, while Kate Austin, James Sawyer Ford, Shannon Rutherford, Boone Carlyle, and Charlie Pace return from their ill-fated hike to high ground. And in the before times, Kate, a.k.a. Annie, a.k.a. Monica, meets a one-armed man named Ray. Is it important that he has one arm? Seemingly not. Man, these recaps are so much easier once people start dying off. No shelters, no water, no smokes. Don't these people know it's episode 38? I guess we're all starting from scratch. It's Tabula Rasa here on Lost on Lost.
Yeah, in the Lost on Lost timeline, they suddenly found more cigarettes. That's great.
JB.
Yes.
We have a guest.
What?
Yep. Folks out there at home, you know him from his diligent Podbean commenting. We want to welcome to the show, Brian Markovich.
Hello. Woo. Yeah. Thanks to be here. Good to be here. But I did actually want to correct you, JP, real quick. Tabula Rasa, I did look it up.
Yes.
And it says that it's actually a semi-medium heat salsa made from an heirloom tomato. So.
God damn it.
Brian, what's your history with Lost? Did you watch it when it was originally airing back in the mid-2000s?
I actually have a weird background with Lost. I started watching it after it had already started. Okay. But before it had ended.
Sure.
And I started watching it with my, at the time, new girlfriend, Linnea, who's now my wife.
Oh. Congratulations.
Thank you. And then, so we started watching it because we heard that it was amazing. It was like, I don't know, it was like pretty far into it at that point. It was like on end of season 5, maybe starting 6.
Oh, shit. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then we hustled.
Yeah,
right? Like, and we
that's
did
a
the
lot
full
at that point. If you try to
Holy
catch up
shit.
1 through 5 before 6, that's over 100 episodes.
We did it, right?
Jeez.
And that was back when Hulu was like just kind of starting out. So there was like one of 2 commercials you'd get over and over.
Oh my God.
It was like this stuffed monkey in a car. I don't even know it was selling. I watched it probably 400-500 times. I don't know what it's selling. The car, the monkey, but it's burned into my brain.
Back medicine.
Anyway, so we watched it. We caught up just in time to catch the entire series finale.
Nice.
Live on TV.
Nice.
And then I never went back. But I actually really enjoyed Lost, or wouldn't have binged it, like that hard.
Right.
Each
Get halfway
episode-
through and just be like, you know what? Fuck it.
And honestly, this might be the way to do it, is the way you guys are doing it, where you're kind of piecemealing it up, because taking it apart and looking at it as the little pieces actually makes it look pretty darn good.
Dude. And I think we're going to talk about that today. Holy shit.
You want to talk about Lost, you guys?
Oh, so bad.
Yes, let's do it.
Okay, so Tabula Rasa originally aired on October 6, 2004. It was written by Damon Lindelof and directed by Jack Bender. Damon Lindelof is the guy who wrote the screenplay for World War Z, which I recently rewatched, and you know what? It's fine. Jack Bender directed 23 episodes of Mr. Mercedes. Please, Mr. Mercedes is my father. Call me dentist. And I want to mention that the first 9 episodes of Lost were shot by Larry Fong. Now, we had talked about Larry Fong very briefly on Mike Hires episode. We haven't watched a lot of the first 10 episodes of the show.
Not in a while, that's for sure.
No, dude, Larry Fong knows what the fuck he's doing. I mean, that guy's worked, but he needs to work more. So we're going to get into that.
I wish I had that audio drop of Mike. How dare you talk shit about my good friend Larry Fong? God.
But yeah, we open on the beach.
Edward Mars. We know a little bit about this guy. He's dying.
Good.
He's
Not fast enough. Not nearly fast enough dying for a lot of people, I'd say.
pale. He's sweaty. He's sort of semi-conscious. Jack's trying to keep him quiet. He's mumbling. He's got a fever. Oh, she's dangerous. Oh.
Jack's trying to work on him, and he's kind of having a conversation with him because, I keep asking you who's dangerous, but you keep passing out, you dipshit.
I can only imagine how annoying that would be as Jack. You're sitting there. Oh, she's dangerous. Who?
I love that Jack has literally crash landed on an island and he still can't get away from work. Like that's the first thing I thought of. I'm like, God, no vacations for this guy.
Jeez.
But yeah, so Barnes starts talking about, where's my handcuffs? I need my handcuffs. Yada, yada, yada.
Look at my jacket. Look at my jacket.
So Jack's like, okay, I'm going to look for his handcuffs or whatever. And he pulls out a piece of paper.
Mars' shopping list.
Yeah.
Apparently, he had to pick up known middle section survivor Kate Austin from someplace.
She's the fugitive, in case we on the podcast weren't aware by now.
I do find that the paper is in amazing condition too.
Yep.
Dude.
For surviving
no
a
blood,
crash
no
and all
water.
that. And the guy has literally been impaled, and it's like, well,
Yeah.
that
like-
paper's still got the nice quarter folds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very nice. But yeah, then we immediately cut to Kate with our first sort of this isn't our first. This is our second A-Team
Yep. This is A-Team too,
adventure canonically on the show.
Yeah, they went up to, they wanted to go to high ground to try and get Saeed's radio to work, and it was just like everybody. Kate, Sawyer, Boone, Shannon, and Saeed, and Charlie.
Jesus.
It was six people.
Now, how many people does it take to work a radio, right?
Right, exactly.
Right.
We're all going to have a saying on here, okay?
Yeah.
But yeah, they're heading back, and it's getting dark, and Saeed's like, we are not going to make it back, and it's dark jungle. We don't know what's out there. We should just make camp here, hunker down for the night, and we'll head back in the morning.
Sawyer's not having that. He's like, nah, fuck all that. I'm gonna keep going.
Yeah.
They between Saeed and Kate, they do manage to talk him out of it. They both make some mysterious allusions to what's out
Something.
there in them trees.
Sawyer reveals that he has reassembled the gun that Kate disassembled in the jungle, but he does not have any bullets. No bullets.
Oh, no bullets.
He does say, give me the clip. It's not a clip. It's a
magazine.
magazine. Thank you. Yeah.
That didn't bother me, but now it will. So thanks for
For
ruining
the rest of your
Tabula
life.
Rasa. Yeah.
Saeed does this absolutely terrible reenactment of the plane, and this just like smacked of exposition to me. Like, if you missed the pilot, this is what happened. We were off. Like, he just has a flaming stick and he's waving it around. He's not pointing to anything. He's not creating landmarks. You know, he's just like, we were here and then we went here.
Right. I felt like if he would have been like, okay, you know, or somebody would have said something like, well, that doesn't seem like that's that far. And then like actually to give it like more scale. Yeah. Like the distance from here to here is like actually only like 100 miles. This is 1,000 miles.
Right. Like if he was like, imagine if a foot were a mile and then he just started walking away from the fire.
Right.
And like, obviously you wouldn't be able to make this scene that long and watch him walk 1,000 feet away. But like, if he just did that and like, you know, he gets, 50, 75 steps away and they're like, okay, we get it. We're real lost. Drink.
Right. Him just lighting a stick and raising it like only got across that like airplanes fly, guys. Just
like,
a
so
heads
we
up
were
here.
in the air. We're on the land.
Hold up, slow down.
Boone would probably be like, go on. I'm with you still.
Get it?
This is tough stuff, but I'm with you.
They said some important stuff though, right? It was like
near the tail end of the scene,
lost control or lost like contact with ground control, and then like started heading to Fiji instead of their original location.
And then they talk about what had happened on their little hike. They heard this transmission. It was playing on this loop, and that they were able to suss out that it had been running for 16 years. To which the question is asked, well, are we going to tell everybody else? And Saeed says no.
Right.
We have to preserve hope. We can't cause a panic. We can't tell anybody. And this actually, to me, like I was sitting there thinking, I paused it to take a quick note, but then since it was paused, I was thinking to myself, I was like, we are all the time clowning on folks not sharing information.
Yeah.
This is one time where somebody like explained why they were going to do it.
Right.
And it actually seemed like a good idea.
Yeah. Once we get into the meat and potatoes of Lost, there's so much urgency to do all this stuff. We talked about when we watched Outlaws, how I really like the scene where Kate and Sawyer just got to sit down and be their characters and just kind of have a conversation. I really like this scene because I was like, the problem we're trying to solve is very simple. Yeah. And people are just voicing their opinions, and it's allowing the characters to get grounded, and for the audience to spend more time with them. And I don't know, I just thought it was a nice little scene.
I actually thought that it felt like every like political meeting that ever happened. Like the people cannot handle this information. Okay, like those people that are completely airplane crashed right now, they can't handle that kind of stuff. We can, obviously,
right?
Because we are the radio team that ascended the mountain. Yeah. But those people, no. But it is kind of weird that like no one disagreed. Like, we'll have this big lie that we'll bring back to camp, and I'm sure it'll be fine if anyone finds out that we've been lying to them.
No one's ever upset when they find out you've been lying to them.
Right. No. Right. And then I guess like if you look at it from a further away picture, there's a pretty good reason why I guess they're probably all okay with it. You have a fugitive, a con artist, a heroin addict, a moron, one of the best characters ever, and then a virulent narcissist.
Dude, Saeed gets done so dirty so often.
He's always getting hammered. It's not fair. From there, we cut back to the beach.
Jack and Hurley are having a little discussion about what was in the jungle.
Man, I love Hurley's character, but he is like has the brain of a 10-year-old boy.
Yeah.
Like, every comment he says, you could like slot in a 10-year-old boy, and you're like, he would have said that. He's like opens up with dinosaurs or something. I don't know.
If they would have given all that exposition to Walt, like if the character of Hurley didn't exist, I would be so frustrated and just angry. Yeah. Like I love that it's Hurley.
No, for sure. He's a great character for that reason.
Yeah. While they're dinking around doing that, Hurley spots the mugshot.
Yeah.
And that genuinely freaks him out. He looks at it. And this is genuine, really good facial acting from Jorge Garcia. Because he's like, I saw it. I was like, oh shit, I got scared for him.
Yeah. All right, let's get into one of the more frustrating scenes.
Yeah, the jungle. So it's night at the hikers camp.
Boone just grabs the gun off of sleeping Saeed.
Yeah. No, he's taking the magazine out of Saeed's
Or the
pocket.
magazine. That's
He's
yeah.
already snatched the gun off of sleeping Sawyer.
He's like, I'm going to stand guard. Okay, well, that's something you could like begin a discussion on. You
We
fucking
could have talked
dipshit.
about that before we all went to sleep, and I'm assuming have been asleep for a while.
What were you doing up?
Such an aggressive move. Like, let's do the one thing that could completely incite violence around here.
Yeah.
Let's see, what would 100% get me attacked? Stealing the only gun off of a dude we have recognized to be kind of a redneck.
I am a cis white American male, and I haven't held a gun in over 24 hours. Listen, I need to do this for my penis.
I was half expecting Saeed to wake up before he got it off and just grab his wrist and just be like, no. But
Yeah, get
Boone
out of here.
gets it all the way off of him. Saeed wakes up. Then it all falls apart. They argue about who should have the gun since Boone definitely shouldn't have it. Shannon and Charlie don't want it. Sawyer wants it. Saeed wants it. Charlie has the idea. It's like, give it to Kate.
I feel like Saeed should 100% have the gun. Have they not listened to
Probably.
a word he's said so far? Like,
Saeed should 100%.
he's like the only reasonable person on the entire island.
Yeah.
At least
He
for
actually
one.
has military training, you know.
Right.
They all agree to give it to Kate. The one who, if you've seen the pilot, apparently a day ago did not know how to remove the magazine from it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she should have it.
Yeah.
Fuck
Let's
ever.
give it
It's
to
a
her.
weird choice. It's
Charlie's
a
on
weird
heroin.
compromised choice, I feel like. You shouldn't
is.
make the compromised choices when it comes to who's handling the firearm.
Yeah,
I do feel
good call.
like that they should have followed that one through the whole way.
Yeah. From here, we get our first flashback.
Is this our first off-island flashback of the show?
Yes, because all of the flashbacks that take place during the pilot are
Or
on
like on the plane?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. So this is our first flashback that takes place in Australia. We come to discover. Kate is asleep in somebody's sheep pen.
Man, if I had $1, you know.
If I had a nickel for every time I woke up in a sheep pen, I'd have 2 nickels, which isn't a lot, but it's weird that it happened twice.
I remember thinking like this is okay, so it's gonna show us her crime. And I remember like going through like what is it gonna be? Is she just gonna immediately murder a bunch of sheep? Like what is happening? What is she wanted for? It's gonna show us obviously right away, right? So every time something was introduced in this scene, I'm like, this is it. Here
it
comes
is.
the crime.
Here it comes.
So, yeah, she's woken up by a farmer with a shotgun. You know, what you day? Oh, fuck, I can't do an
Come on,
Australian
give
accent.
it.
What,
Get it. Use your centering phrase.
Oi, cunt, what are you doing in my sheep barn?
There we go. And that's all. And then in post, we just cut out oi cunt, and then we move on.
Nope, we're keeping it.
You'd say that going into each statement then?
Yep. I could never go to Australia or New Zealand.
No.
But yeah, she's like, I'm doing white girl summer out here. I'm just kind of like backpacking. I like walking. I've walked
15
kilometers from in town, and Ray's like 15 kilometers. It's 9.3 miles.
Yeah, that was like, that's
lace
9
up your
miles,
shoes,
right?
get walking.
Yeah, you did
It's fine.
act like that was nearly impossible. Some heroic feat of walking distance.
We'll cut this, but I went on a date last night. And after we had dinner, we went on a walk, and we walked 3.5 miles after dinner without really even realizing it. Like,
Right,
it's not
yeah.
that hard.
And it killed that lady.
She's dead now.
Yeah, obviously.
I buried her in a dumpster behind the Federal on Lankershim Boulevard.
Romance.
To be fair, farmers, they don't walk miles and miles other than their fields every day, probably.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
I mean, and sheep stations in Australia, those things are massive. They're like,
Oh my God.
hundreds. They're hundreds of
It's just
acres.
his farm
Yeah.
from there to the city.
Right,
The
yeah.
9 miles is just his farm.
That'd be funny. Well, you just got here because town is 30 meters away from the furthest edge of my farm, which is 15 kilometers. We cut to the beach. The hikers have returned. Saeed is up on a piece of wreckage. He is.
Oh, wait.
organizing-
Hold
Yeah,
on.
we missed
hold
one
on.
really important
You missed
part.
a very important part, Adam.
My notes for this are a little bare bones. So yeah, fill it in.
Just one note that I'm writing my notes on a computer now. I did increase the font by about double. wooden hand.
I had a lot of problems with this, okay, because it's not just the wooden hand. There were so many things. She goes in for a handshake on the deal with the farm.
Sure.
Yep.
Goes for the right handshake, right? And he's like, I'm a lefty, right? And like, bangs the hand. One, there's this whole nother dynamic of like, does losing your right arm immediately qualify you to call yourself a lefty now? Right?
I don't think so.
Are you a born again lefty at this point? Like,
It's like
what?
I'm still right-handed. I just can't.
Don't have that hand. Yeah.
Well, and he brings up that idea of like, my wife's gone, she's dead 8 months. I can't do a good one, but
That's not bad.
You're doing
8
so
months.
much better than me, Brian. Keep going.
And then also, he's got a hell of a mortgage, like just
right.
a bloody hell of a mortgage.
She left me with too many chores and a hell of a mortgage.
And I'm like, did he not pay his mortgage and they killed his wife and took his arm? Oh my God.
Is it the sheep mafia? Oh no.
Oh God,
Australia goes hard.
real hard.
And then you were like, wait, did Kate cut off his hand?
Did Kate give him that mortgage? Is that why she's like, what?
That's what
deep
that's
does
what
this
Kate's
go?
crime is. It's mortgage fraud.
Cut back to the beach.
The hikers have returned. Saeed is up on a piece of wreckage. He is organizing the rest of the middle section survivors. He's like, hey, here's what's up on the
Dude.
thing. Based on that, okay, like it didn't work, but we can try again very easily. This is how we're gonna do it. We need to scrounge up electronics. While a group of people is doing that, we need to start rationing the food. While a group of people is doing that, we need to collect water. While you hear him rattling off and organizing groups of people.
Saeed is so good. How does Jack end up being the leader of this bullshit?
Yeah.
That's ridiculous, right? I do have some questions on how he would build like the super antenna out of like 6
Dude.
blackberries, but
Don't
Right,
don't
four
think
light-
about
yeah,
it.
just
I'm
laptops.
not looking into
A
it.
Walkman, yeah. Just like
That's what Saeed does. He fixes plot holes.
we track away from Saeed getting everybody organized. Kate goes up to Jack, and despite the fact that everybody agreed that we were going to commit to the big lie, Kate immediately blows it. It's like the one time she should lie, she tells the truth, and every other time she tells the truth, she lies.
Yeah. There's two Kates. One will always lie to you. One will always say the truth.
Well, and it's such an interesting scene because Jack thinks that she's going to tell him about the crime, right?
Yeah.
And he's got that whole side of it, and the audience knows it, and then she gives him a pretty big secret.
Yeah.
What's important to her,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and he's like, "Is that it?
Anything.
Uh-huh.
That all you got?" It's
Yeah.
like, I just told you like the thing I'm not supposed to share with the rest of the camp. So yeah, I guess how's the guy in the tent doing?
Yeah, the last thing she sort of does is she asks Jack about what's up with Edward Mars, what's up with the guy. We cut to later on the beach. Jack and Hurley are talking about Kate. And yeah, Hurley's like, "What's up? She's the fugitive, whatever."
Jack's like, it's none of my business. Whatever. I don't care.
Hurley calls Edward Mars Johnny Fever.
Yeah.
So disrespectful to someone dying like 10 feet away.
Right.
But out of all the nicknames that have been given out, mostly by Sawyer,
Yeah.
this is hands down my favorite.
It's pretty good.
Like he said
Dude.
that, I didn't catch it at first. I was right, and then he goes, "What about Johnny Fever?" I was like, Johnny.
What if let's do some more rewriting of Lost. Instead of Sawyer giving everyone nicknames because he's supposed to be edgy and kind of an asshole and disrespectful of like, I'm just gonna call you whatever I want. What if Hurley has like a weird short-term memory condition and he can't? So he just has to like make up nicknames off of what like descriptive terms he knows about everybody.
He's just out there like, have you seen my Walkman, baby mama?
Hey, Doctor Out of Breath.
Calls John Locke Xavier or something.
Oh my god. Yeah, basically Jack's like, I need more antibiotics. I need to find some. Hurley's like, okay, well, I looked through all the luggage.
Yeah.
And Jack's like, well, what about the overhead compartments like in the fuselage? And Hurley doesn't want to go in there because there's dead bodies. That's fucked up.
That was like kind of funny. Like Jack was like, "I'll take care of it," and Hurley's like, "Yep, nope, sounds good. I'll watch.
Yep.
I'll watch Edward."
Awesome. Sounds good.
Yeah, we cut to Jack inside the fuselage. He's rummaging through. Oh, okay. Like, and I just thought of this now. If there's bodies in here, just like start hucking the luggage out of the fuselage and don't hang out by the bodies.
Right.
But I
right.
guess if he wants to, you sort of manage the flow of materials. I guess you don't just throw it on a pile for randos like Sawyer to start rooting through them.
I feel like they should move the bodies somewhere off-site too, because those things are going to start rotting and stuff. That would clear up all of these things and make the fuselage another form of shelter.
Correct.
If needed. Yeah. I'm Sawyering it, or not Sawyering, Saeed?
Yeah, Saeeding.
Sawyering it is completely different. That's Sawyering yourself.
Saeeding is like the equivalent of adulting. It's the island version of adulting.
Yeah. Saeed's actually on the wing of the plane, like putting it back together. Yeah. He's like, "Oh no, I'm gonna get us out of here."
Yeah.
You got any more blackberries? We can get this thing flying by noon.
Jack's rooting through bags. He hears something. He's got a flashlight.
Rummaging around.
He gets spooked by Sawyer. Sawyer, boo. They have a conversation. Sawyer says to Jack, he's like, "You're wasting your time on that guy, man. Like, it's apparent we have limited resources. You're going to pour everything into a hole."
Yeah, saving this guy who's clearly not going to make it.
Yeah, I tended to agree with everything Sawyer said in this scene.
Which is weird.
Right. Even the part about, like, thieving from the plane. It's like, listen, we're both, like, just wild scavengers at this point. Like, don't act like you're something better than that.
It's like, you're in here too, Doc. But then he says, my favorite little exchange of the episode.
You're just not looking at the big picture, Doc. Still back to civilization. Yeah? And where are you? Me? I'm in the wild.
Yeah.
And I was just like, all right, that's
Which is also accurate, right?
Yeah.
Like,
dude,
Jack
it's
is
super
definitely
good.
still, I am going to get saved and I'm going to get malpractice lawsuits if I don't try to save this man.
The U.S. Marshal Service is going to sue me.
Right.
From there, we cut out to the beach. Claire's struggling with the bag. Charlie helps her. He does the thing. Like, he did the Charlie's still in civilization, too, because he's trying to snag here. So was your husband on the plane? Question mark. Are you single? Do you come here often?
I do feel like that's a slightly more valid claim when you see a pregnant woman, like especially at the 9-month mark. Maybe you have a little bit more room to guess that kind of thing. But
sure,
Sun and Jin, we get our first little hint of the fact that their relationship is a little tense.
Yeah, there's an odd dynamic there.
Go wash yourself up.
Yeah, you're dirty. Go wash yourself.
Wash yourself up. I love you.
You're filthy.
Yeah,
I love you.
Like, wow. Oh, okay.
That's the same conversation I have with my cat every time I'm drunk.
You're filthy.
I'm
I
filthy.
love you.
I'm filthy. Go wash yourself. I love you.
We cut over to Kate and Hurley.
What a great scene.
So good. Hurley, man, he nervous. He cannot hide how he's feeling.
Hurley has zero poker face. He cannot. All he can think of is she's a murderer. She's a murderer. Yep. She's a murderer. He's doing a good job not saying anything.
Yeah.
Right. And he's just like, I gotta get water. By like.
Yep.
But he notices that Kate has a gun.
Is it normal to just tuck the gun in the back waistband? Or is that a good
on TV,
idea?
Sure.
I'm not really a firearms guy, so I'm asking you guys. Is it tucked into a thong like that usually? Right in the back?
Yes.
Is that
It's actually meant to attach to a thong. So if you're wearing an IWB holster, you do need to be wearing thong underpants. Yeah, all of a sudden it starts to pour. Survivors are trying to collect water and take shelter and all that stuff. Kate goes into the medical tent and very sweetly watches Edward sleep.
She's like smelling his soul leave or something.
So
it goes like
him.
slow-mo. You see her hair just gently waving.
Kate's like, man, you know what I haven't smelled in a long time? The last breath of a dying man.
Let's get a little Johnny Fever on the air.
Yeah. Oh my god, you smell like death. But yeah, cut back to Australia.
Yeah, back to Ray's farm. Annie is taking some money out of a hidey hole in the pear closet.
I thought she was stealing money.
I did too.
Also, I didn't think it was that unreasonable that she wouldn't have put it in the bank.
Yeah.
Like, that's not a ridiculous claim. No. Like, you without a vehicle, you didn't want to go 9 miles there and back to a bank.
I like
repeatedly.
walking, but not enough to walk 15 miles both ways to make a deposit.
You could have earned like $3, man.
Yeah.
if the rates were incredible.
Yeah.
She also said she's on White Girl Summer and she doesn't like have permanent residency in this country. So like you're gonna open up a bank account.
You want to use a bank? Banks get you loads of cash.
Every time you open up a checking account, you get yourself a free sheet.
That's why I've got this hell of a mortgage, because I keep opening accounts.
I could have held on to that cash for you. I didn't understand why he would have held on to the cash. Like, that's no better than the tin can in my eyes.
Right.
What if Ray's a piece of shit? What if he's going to take her money and put it toward his mortgage?
Yeah. Yeah, I'll pay you next week, I promise. And then, come the end of the month or whatever, it's like, oh, I actually just paid the mortgage and you have no money. Yeah.
He's got a hell of a mortgage. Prosthetics are not cheap.
No.
He takes Kate's money and he comes in with a gold hand. Like, nah, I don't know what happened to your money.
I have no idea. Ray convinces her not to leave until the morning. He's like, okay, you want to bail, I get it, that's fine. Let me give you a ride to the train station.
Right. Like we've established we've been, hanging out together for 3 months. Like you haven't opened up. Like I get it. You're going to leave. I just didn't think it'd be in the middle of the night. I always knew this happened. Come on, we'll do breakfast. I'll drive you into town. You don't need to be fucking weird about it.
You don't need to be weird. Let's we can part on good terms, whatever.
Sure.
Cut back to the tent. Kate's still hovering over Mars. And
Jesus.
Holy shit. He snaps awake and immediately starts choking.
That's just some Night of the Living Dead stuff.
That's just how cops wake up every day.
I was going to say, that was just his law enforcement training kicking in.
Oh my God.
Choke. Step 1, choke. Step 2, de-escalate.
What was step 2? It doesn't matter.
I can't remember. Yeah, they struggle. Jack rolls in.
Break it up.
Yeah, separates them, starts tending to Mars.
Again, production design great. Like it's pouring rain outside and the tent's kind of leaky. So like there's water coming in and like Jack's, all of a sudden people are getting wet, everything. I'm like, damn, this episode looks so fucking good.
He wrestles Mars back into the bed and starts tending to him. Kate asks Jack again what the scoop is with him, and
what's the deal? Is he gonna suffer?
Is he?
Yeah,
is he
this guy that just strangled me. Is he gonna be okay?
Or
do all dying people do that? I don't know.
That's just rigor mortis strangle, or what's going on here?
The subtext of the question is, Jack, will you euthanize him, as opposed to just letting him die naturally?
Right. Yeah. How many foot fungus pills does it take to ethically kill someone?
I mean, it's a bit of it's some dark stuff, a little bit.
Yeah.
Like
I
dig it. It's dramatic. It's cool.
Right.
This was a good
Full
scene.
$1 million baby on this.
Spoilers for $1 Million Baby.
No, he's gonna raise him as a boxer, is what I meant.
We come back to the flashback. Ray and Annie are driving to the train station.
This scene has some problems.
You don't say. So they're driving. They're chatting.
Yeah. Ray's looking in the rear view though.
There's a truck coming up on him pretty quick.
You want a burger before you go?
Yeah, stopping for a burger. It dawns on Kate that Ray turned her in. So she asks, how long have you known? He admits he saw her poster in the post office, $23,000 reward. He's got a hell of a
mortgage.
Hell of a mortgage.
It's a hell of a mortgage. Like, I don't know if anybody out there has had a mortgage, but when you have a hell of a mortgage, it's just that.
Oof.
How did they even happen? Like, him and his wife went in too hard on that sheep farm, to be fully honest with you.
Yeah.
And he needs to solve that himself.
Man, I wanted something a little bit more substantial than the mortgage.
Yeah. But it just boils down to money. It's like, we didn't know much about Ray at all, but it turns out Ray's just motivated by money. Money will solve his problems, and Kate's not a person to him.
But what would have been better? Like, they're going to give me back my arm.
Gonna give me it back. Holy shit, dude! It's so much better. Like, yes, he's mentioned like, yeah, everybody's got like rent or mortgage, and it's shitty. But like, Ray really chose to make this decision. Like, his hand wasn't forced.
Lefty.
And it felt kind of like lackadaisical.
It felt cheap to me. It was just like, well, this is a cheap and easy way to make this happen.
Anyways,
Anyway,
Barnes pulls up and finger guns them like a psychopath.
Right. That's standard law enforcement
yep.
procedure, to my understanding.
standard procedure.
Go alone, go fast,
Yep.
go in the
Drive
wrong
on
lane.
the wrong side of the road. Yeah.
Give her the old finger gun.
What was the game there? Like what's the goal?
Oh, like, okay, maybe part of the subterfuge on Ray's part was to pull over to the burger stop, and then the two of them were, and then Ray was gonna
Sure.
Mars is gonna pull up there and be like, "Gotcha, here's your cash, Ray." Even if that was the plan, there is no way that Mars knew that they weren't gonna stop for burgers,
Right.
Unless he's got the car tapped or Ray's wearing a wire, which I don't believe is happening at all. So, like,
No.
why does what's the math on Mars' part? Why does he do that? Why does he pull up
Right.
and taunt her like that?
Also, once we've established from Ray that like the jig is up, just fucking pull over.
Exactly.
Like,
There's no reason to keep going here. There's no one on the road.
Nah, I really want to get that burger.
Or just pull it. Like, I got to go to the bathroom or something,
Yeah.
right? There's a million ways to make this burger thing work. And he's
Right,
like, she
right.
said no. Okay,
Right.
we're going to keep going, I guess.
Right.
Oh, is that a free hand on the side of the road?
As though if Ray were to pull over, Marge wouldn't have stopped, regardless of what the reason is. We go back to the beach. Walt and we're checking in with Walt and Michael. Michael's asking about Walt talking to Locke. Walt talks about Locke having a secret.
Did a miracle happen? Michael's getting some stranger danger from Locke, which I
You can't be friends with just some rando dude. Like, you can't do that.
yeah. This island full of adults, and this one guy is like immediately drawn to my son. Like, what's going on here?
Yeah. So yeah, he gives him a warning. Just don't hang around with him. Let's hang out. I'll find your dog. That'll make you feel better. I'll do it as soon as it stops raining. It immediately
It
stops.
stops raining. Now, hold on. I was wondering. I was like, that's done for kind of comedic and timing value. Was that Walt's powers? I don't know.
Dude, I didn't think
don't
about
know.
that. That's
I forgot that was even a thing. So
Oh yeah, Walt's got some weird fucking
Right.
otherworldly powers that he doesn't know how to control. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Walt's
none
special.
of them can save his dog. But that's fine. He can
Yeah.
turn off the rain. That's
I like that, JP. So yeah, so it stops raining. Michael, well, yeah, we cut to Michael looking for the dog. He's mumbling to him, right when it stopped raining. I hate being a dad. He hears a noise. This spooked the shit out of me because I was thinking to myself, I was like, okay, there's no way. I know it's not smoke monster related, but we do know they established in the pilot that there are bears. We know on Lost there are boars.
Yeah, I thought for sure it was going to be the stereotypical boar running out.
Yeah,
Like,
that's what I
Yeah.
thought it was.
Yeah.
I thought he was going to get drilled by a boar. So he bails. He starts running back.
yeah, because the noise clearly starts getting bigger
Closer.
and louder and more badass. So he gets out of there.
He barrels into a small clearing near the beach where Sun is getting herself cleaned up.
topless.
Yeah.
It quickly becomes clear she was the one making the crazy sounds and the most aggressive bathing process of all time.
That's how women shower. But okay, Michael's running for his life from some sort of unknown threat, and he sees a pair
Two
of tits.
headlights in the distance. Yes.
Yeah, and immediately stops and figures, oh, well, I can't be threatened if there's titties, so I'm gonna stop running and stop being concerned about the noise in the jungle.
There's a bunch of stuff that bothers me about this scene, which is fairly apparent. But the thing, it's the TV thing of the struggling not to look. I have in my life been presented with an occasion where I may have accidentally seen another person in a state of undress. Do you know how easy it is to, when you know where that person is, just turn your head? An undressed person away from you takes up so little of your field of vision that there are many places to turn to in which you will never see them.
This does beg the question: is this the first pair of breasts he's ever seen, despite having a child?
No.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah,
He's like, finally.
that's the subtext we're supposed to take away.
Walt was right. It is a miracle. He does a whole awkward thing. I didn't see anything.
He hands her clothes, like,
Yep.
fuck off. Like,
Yeah.
maybe she's not done yet.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly. Fuck off
Definitely
back the way
not
you
done.
came. Like, I don't even care if a boar's over there, dude. Stop perving the dish. Fuck off. Fuck all the way off. Back to fuck town.
I remember thinking at the time this was going to be like because we just had that weird interaction with the couple.
Yeah, with
Sure.
And
Johnson
then it
Dunn,
goes
yeah.
straight into this. I'm like, is there going to be like some kind of like affair thing going on?
Like
Is
a,
it
like
is
a
that
love
the
triangle
spark
type thing. Yeah, like
Yeah,
will they, won't they?
Early on, that's what I took away on the scene.
Maybe that's what the writers were trying to set up. They're like, okay, we're gonna do a bunch
Right.
of survival shit, a bunch of spooky shit.
I don't
and
think Lost does not just put things in place in case they want to act on them later.
never do
Everything's
that.
for a reason.
No.
It's very clear.
Yeah.
It's a clear ending.
They would,
Yep,
they would never
absolutely.
tease us like that. Come back to the medical tent. Mars is in. His pain is advancing. I think the effort of trying to strangle his legal charge, is, starting to accelerate some of the damage.
Yeah.
We cut to Charlie and Locke.
Yeah, we get a bunch of scenes now with the soundtrack in the background of Barnes wailing in pain.
Yeah.
So we just
Yeah.
get a bunch of little vignettes of just sort of like survivors doing survivor-y things.
Locke's whittling, something that'll be something, that we see a lot of Locke doing. Charlie's, being relatively useless. That's some Charlie shit.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Shannon
Sawyer
and
talks-
Boone are
Yeah,
just out of touch.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just doing whatever. Then we get a scene where Sawyer is talking to Kate, and the two of them have a conversation about again euthanizing Edward Mars. One of us got a gun, we've only got the one bullet. It actually kind of poetic.
His nickname for Jack is Hero, which I'm like, oh, that's actually kind of fitting.
We go back to the tent. Mars is conscious again, just barely, and again warns Jack about Kate. He's a little bit more conscious here than he is earlier, and so he's actually able to be like, hey, it is Kate, she is dangerous, stay away from her, whatever. So from there we cut back to the flashback.
Oh my god. Okay.
So they're like, this is like the other half of this already pretty nonsense scene. We cut back to we go to the continuous cut. We see Edward give the finger gun again. And then when we go continuous, Kate tries to. There's an oncoming car, so Edward's got to back off, and so he gets back behind them.
But then he goes for the same move again.
Yeah.
Like as if it accomplished anything in the first go. Like he didn't learn his lesson. Like I got to get back up there to give her more taunts of the finger gun, or this whole thing's kaput.
Yeah, exactly. Right. I was after I was gonna do finger guns, then I was gonna do a badge thing, and then I was gonna ride handcuffs. I had a whole bit. So like he pulls up next to him, and then so Kate tries to run him off the road by grabbing the wheel from Ray,
which is crazy because Ray had such a good 10 and 2 position on his hands.
Right. Yeah.
You should have to keep your hands at 10.
Oh man.
What?
He had to pick. He was going center line with the lefty, and we both know he's a born again lefty, so it's not even got the strength of a full lefty. Of course, he's going to overpower him. He should have pulled over hours ago.
Right.
Born again.
He should have
lefty.
called fucking Mars at his hotel early the night. Like, hey, she's thinking about taking off. Can you just meet us here? It's only 15 kilometers from town.
What if they did talk through? Then they're like, okay, well, if she says no to the burger, we got to come up with a plan. The plan is we're going to keep going, same speed. You're going to come on side. We're going to do like a midair refuel type action, only with finger guns.
The signal will be finger guns. Keep your eyes out for it.
Pass her through the window at that point with your one arm.
He's wearing the Groucho Marx glasses. You'll know me because I'll give you finger guns. That'll be the sign. So they're fighting over this. Again, the simple solution is everyone just take your foot off the gas. Yeah. However, as Kate and Ray jerk the wheel, their car starts to go sideways.
Yep.
Mars just continues going and does what's called a pit maneuver. I learned it as precision immobilization technique. I think they call it a pursuit intervention technique now.
Sure.
And hits the rear quarter of their car. He just plows through them and runs them off the road.
Yeah.
Yes, Kate and Ray are fighting over the wheel. Them going off the road is 100% Mars's fault.
Yep. It's a bad accident. They roll over a lot.
Yeah.
I gotta assume neither one were wearing their seatbelts. Like, it very easily could have killed both of them.
I was expecting to see Kate or Ray impaled with that wooden arm. Right? And then that was the crime. Oh my god.
What's the screenwriting thing? Don't show us a gun in Act 1 unless somebody's going to use the gun in Act 3.
Right.
A wooden
Like-
arm is the gun. Is the wooden arm just so that it's believable that she'd overpower him?
I
with
was
the
just
needle?
about to say that. I was like, is that the Act 3
Maybe?
payoff? Brian, you said he overpowers Kate overpowers him because he's only got one hand. Is that the big payoff? The only way that 120 pounds soaking wet Kate Austin could overpower sheep farmer all-star Ray is because he's only got one arm. Is that the payoff?
The only added benefit is that it makes it seem more likely he needs the assistance on the farm.
Sure.
I mean, farming's
Okay.
hard fucking work. Anybody
Yeah.
will take another
Yeah. An
person
extra hand.
sharing the load. God damn it.
It wrecks up real bad. She drags him out of the truck. It starts on fire.
She drags him really far.
Yeah, like
too.
way far away.
Dude.
Like up a hill.
Yep.
Like,
Right.
Almost gets hit by a bus.
Yeah.
Dragging him.
The arm comes off.
The arm comes off. That's right. She grabs him by the arm.
The other arm should have been severed, if you're asking me.
Yeah, what if he lost the right or the left
God.
arm in the fucking car
Yeah.
crash?
We have a brief cut back to the beach in the middle of this flashback. We cut away from the flashback back to the island, and Kate and Mars are talking to each other. He asks, "What was the favor?" We flash back to the plane.
Right before the breakup starts to happen, like seconds before.
Can you do me a favor? Oh, this ought to be good. What?
Yeah.
I honestly thought it would be just like, can you get me the Bloody Mary mix?
Right. Yeah.
Right.
This person comes around. That was his dying wish, was to know that. Like, oh, really? Oh,
Wow. How underwhelming. The breakups, like for 2004, looked really good.
Every time. Yeah.
Dang,
No.
yeah.
They spent some money on that.
When that person just hits the ceiling, they just fly up and people get
Yeah.
sucked out. The wind, Kate, like that close up
Yeah.
of her putting the oxygen mask on. I was like, fuck,
Yeah.
dude. This
the
shit
case hits.
Oh,
hits
yeah.
Mars right on the head. and just
Fucking
goes down. Right?
domes him.
Blood
Holy
immediately.
shit. Oh, it looks so
That's
good.
wild. I remember always seeing those breakup scenes while I was watching Lost, and being like, how did any of these people survive?
Yeah.
Right.
I think which ended up lending itself to the later, Lost theory about how they didn't, and it was always all purgatory the whole time and all that. So like,
Yeah.
'cause, there's no way any of them should have lived. So we come back to the tent. She tells him the favor was, please make sure that Ray got the money. But yeah, it doesn't matter because we're on an island. It's fucked. Mars knows he's dying. Mars is plenty aware now of his own mortality. It's very, very close. And so that we bring it up again. He says, are you going to be the one to do it? We cut to Hurley and Jack out chilling on the beach. Hurley's like, hey, where's Kate? Jack's like, oh, she's in there.
Oh,
Is
my
that a good
God.
idea? Well, why? I don't know. She's got a gun.
Yeah.
Would that be a good idea anyway? Last time they were in there together, he was strangling her.
Yeah.
Like, there's
it's
not,
not-
any good scenario where it's like, oh, why would there be a problem for that horrible situation being
Well, I
her?
don't know.
But the gun, oh my God, a gun?
Jack hears this and immediately sprints toward the tent, assuming that Kate's going to shoot Edward. And she steps out of the tent, and he's like, oh, okay. Everything's fine.
Sure.
And then we hear a
Oh my
gunshot.
Dude, that caught me so fucking off guard.
Yeah.
So Sawyer comes sauntering out, kind of
Yeah.
head down or whatever. Jack's like, what the fuck did you do? And he's like, listen, I did what had to be done. Like, you need
I
to
did what you couldn't do.
focus your
yeah.
efforts and your time and your energy on something else.
Until we saw Sawyer walk out of there, I thought she had handed the gun to him as like a last mercy.
Oh, yeah, like he
I'm
shot
a good
himself.
person thing.
yeah.
Right?
Totally.
And like gave
Well,
him
no,
his own way out.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally.
But if she would have gave Edward the mark, he probably would have fucking shot her.
Right.
He's
So
a
it probably
piece of
doesn't
shit.
make any sense.
Yeah, that would be actually like a good, that would have,
Like a
in
crazy
the
character development.
few episode arc that we have of Edward Mars here, he actually, if he ended up shooting himself because, maybe we'd see him better. I don't know.
we hear Mars still alive.
Yeah.
Dude, holy hell.
The gun was a prop gun.
They go in there, and Sawyer shot him in the chest and hit him in the lung and missed it. He said, I was aiming for his heart. He's like, well, you perforated his lung.
Yeah.
Which has to be the dumbest move ever for
Dude,
euthanasia style.
What the fuck?
Like, best case scenario, you've now shot him in the heart and he's got to like deal with whatever the hell that feels like.
You shot him in the arm. What are you doing? Like,
Jack tells him to get out. Just get
Yeah,
it.
this could take hours.
So then Sawyer leaves the tent, and he looks like he fucked up. He knows he fucked up. He did fuck up, and you hear from the tent continued groaning and struggling,
Dude.
and then silence.
Yeah, I mean, we just stay on that shot of Sawyer for a while, and we hear Mars like aspirating. Basically, we hear like the gurgling, and you hear like just the sound of this person dying. Dude, this is fucking ABC primetime television.
Oh, yeah.
I'm like, holy fuck, dude, this is good. This is really good shit.
Not to get too off track here, but like we've made a lot of jokes about Jack Shepherd, the character, and like some of his really wild decisions in the days after the crash and all that stuff. Like everybody that survived the crash is definitely suffering from an element of PTSD, and they're dealing with it in their various different ways.
Yeah.
So Jack's already got that happening, which he has not yet had a chance to deal with, and then he is forced to euthanize Mars after Sawyer's attempted euthanasia, and he's got to do it with his hands.
Do we know he did it with his hands?
Well, I gotta assume he suffocated him, so he probably held a pillow over him or like something like that. Like or maybe just held his mouth shut. But like we don't know how he did it. But like Jack on day 3, 4, whatever this is, he had to do the one thing that the exact opposite of the thing he was trying to do. He was trying to save this man's life, and then the only thing he could do to actually do the right thing was to kill him.
Right. And he had just said to Kate, I'm not a murderer and all that stuff, right? So like
and then he ended up having to kill him. And so like
the narrative in his head's like all messed up.
Yeah. I was listening to a podcast recently about the Pacific Theater in World War II, and it was Dan Carlin, and he was talking about the psychic damage that comes with taking another human's life, and the closer you are to a person when you kill them, the psychic damage is that much worse. If you kill a man with a rifle from 100 yards away, that's not as bad as shooting them from 15 yards away with a handgun. And if you bayonet a person in the trenches, like that psychic damage is so much worse. So that Jack has now got this psychic damage that in my head as a fan and as somebody who watched the show, I always knew that this happened. I remembered that this happened. I was like, I remembered it. But like, I haven't seen it in forever. And so like to see the scene again, I was just like, fuck, man. I'm occasionally a little rough on Jack, and I'm probably gonna keep doing it, but there are some other things happening that are not happening because he's suffocated.
Yeah, he's the hero.
Yeah. We cut to the next morning, and we're getting into the zone of the end of the episode. John Locke uses the whistle that he was carving earlier, this little high-pitched whistle. Vincent, the dog, comes running.
The dog has been in the jungle and is pristine. Coming out of that thing.
Yeah.
Washed by the rains of the forest.
Locke wakes up Michael and says,
Yeah. This big dad
Do this.
energy, man. Holy shit.
It's like, you got this.
He's like, hey, I found your kid's dog. I know you're not going to be able to like handle that task. So I tied him up over there.
Yep.
You, his dad, should be the one to return
take the credit.
him. So there you
Pretty
go.
bro move.
Yeah, solid bro move for sure. Kate goes to sit by Jack. Jack's trying to recover from the earlier stuff.
Yeah.
She comes up to, she's like, I want to tell you why Mars was looking for me. And Jack says, I don't want to know. We all deserve a blank slate.
Right. We all died 3 days ago, ostensibly, right?
Yeah.
Like,
Important to know, Tabula Rasa is not a salsa, but rather it's Latin for blank slate. And that is really...
That, ladies and gentlemen, listening out there, is how a true professional does a joke.
what does pace picante mean? I don't. Does all salsa mean something?
All salsas are a form of new awakenings.
Oh my god!
We get a music cue. This is a little track called "Wash Away" by Joe Purdy off of his album Julie Blue. I love this song, and I have loved it since I saw this episode. This was the first time I'd ever heard it, and I continue to listen to this song to this day. Just like I have it in playlists. Like it's a great song. I love it. I love listening to this song. Not only does it give me good memories of watching Lost, but like it's just like it's an awesome song. And like
they do a neat little thing where they enter it sort of like semi-diegetically, where like Hurley's listening to it on headphones, and it just gets some really pretty, just nice shots. You know, Jin's walking around. He sees Sun sleeping, and he's
Brushes
looking
the
at her
hair off
very-
of her face.
Yeah, slow motion. Shannon gets some sunglasses from Boone.
She actually shoots him a smile as he walks away,
Yeah.
like recognizing, like,
It's a great way to show everyone taking their own blank slate, right?
Yeah.
And getting their own life on this island that might be the same or might be different than they had before.
Yeah.
And your slate can be different, and in some cases, like Mars, it's a broken slate that now has been strangled to death.
We gotta get the slate back together.
I really liked the next cut to Saeed tossing Sawyer the mango.
Yeah, that's really sweet.
Because despite the fact that they are obviously a bit antagonistic toward it, Saeed recognizes what Sawyer tried to do and how that fucked him up.
Yeah, can't wait until he tries to euthanize someone with that mango now. Great.
We got Charlie drawing on his hand, wasting all the Sharpie and tape.
Yeah.
Michael and Vincent come running over.
Yeah.
And Walt, the three of them get together, and they're hugging and they're petting the dog, and
That's great.
And Wash Away slowly fades
Holy fuck.
away to this stunningly sinister music
Holy shit.
as the camera slowly rotates around John Locke, just
Dude.
staring at Michael and Walt and Vincent, just like dead-eyed, not smiling, like expressionless. What the fuck?
Dude.
He's like, that's supposed to be my reward for handcrafting my first dog whistle.
Smash cut to the lost card, and that is how the episode ends.
Jesus
on that shot of
Christ.
I was like rigid on my couch. I was just like, what am I looking at?
What the
Yeah.
fuck? Oh man, it's so
Most
good.
Lost episodes end in like a cliffhanger, but that one, I think you could argue it's not a cliffhanger, but like you could argue for it being a cliffhanger
Dude,
just on
yeah.
how ominous that shot was. Right?
It's so foreboding and so like it's not here's a question I have. It's I don't even know what the question is, and it's just
Right.
not good.
what it's gonna happen here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the after credits scene where we see him get the new arm.
And he puts one of the Infinity Stones in it.
Yeah. Just clenches it, drops in the stone. That's it. It was incredible.
That's it. Tabula Rasa.
Tabula Rasa.
That there's a regular tabula rasa by salt.
Did we like it? Was it good? That's the question, right? That's the first
Yeah.
one up at the end here. Brian, what do you think? Did you like it? Was it good?
I did really like it, actually. Just so you know, going into this whole podcast, I'm like, I should be fine as long as it's not an episode about Kate, because I hate Kate. And the Kate episode. But ultimately, I liked it. There's a lot that happens in this, and there's a lot of character building. And I think there's almost no action, right? With the exception of like the strangling and the car accident and like, some shooting stuff. But actually sounds like a lot when you look at it.
And how long was this? 2.5 hours? Oh, 45 minutes? Shit.
Dude, this episode felt super long. Yeah.
It did feel long, yeah.
Overall, I thought that, I thought we got a lot of insight into these characters off this that was missing maybe from the pilot, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
In the pilot, we don't focus on like we get snippets of people, and we don't really get to get to start to know them yet, because there's a lot of action in the pilot.
Yeah, it's the first time you realize, okay, we're gonna go in and we're gonna do like an in-depth look at each one of these islands. And I think it was fairly successful in at least furthering the complications of everyone on the island. So
Yeah.
JP, what do you think?
I fucking love this episode. This is really this is some top tier shit for me. I think it looks fantastic. I think the Mars stuff I wasn't crazy about. How how we wrapped up the flashback. But I think especially for me with Kate and Sawyer, there's some really interesting character stuff where I'm like, this is the groundwork. The problem is moving forward rather than continue this sort of progression. We just sort of like hung our laurels on it. Like we said it once, or we showed this once, and now our characters really start to drift over time. But why is Kate obsessed with Jack? Because he was the first person to like truly give her a fresh start. And I'm like, oh man, it's almost like we should have watched this fucking show in order. But yeah, no, I really, really like this episode a lot. Adam.
Yeah, same. I really dug this, despite the fact that it's been like well over a year at this point since watching the pilot. I enjoyed this despite not having recently seen the pilot. So like just coming from the beginning, like despite the fact that the camp scene was a little silly, like it tells us kind of where we're at. And then we get into a bunch of really neat character foundation stuff. Everybody taking their clean slate. Yeah, by the time I get to the end of it, like, do I want to watch the next one? Yes, I do, because the way they ended the episode was like really like WTF. Like, I got to see what's happening next.
Yeah.
So yeah, I dug it all the way around. I'd give it a very solid A for me.
All right, well then let's get into our end of episode segment. So Lost MVP, who is your favorite person from this episode, minus your context, minus anything else you know about the show? Who is your all-star for Tabula Rasa? Brian.
And I think this would be just for this episode, even if it wasn't, right? For the first time, I think Jack really pulls it together for me, and he rocks it, right? Like he does what literally everyone else can and actually euthanizes this guy. I think that's like, to me, that was the biggest moment, because he had to pick up the slack for everyone else. Sure. And it's also like this moment of him coming to terms with the fact that like this isn't going to be like home, where he maybe had the resources to save someone. Yeah, so that moment in general made him the MVP. And then, as if that wasn't enough, he goes to Kate with all this knowledge of this predetermined state of her being a fugitive, getting captured, and like, you're a criminal. And he says, none of that matters.
I don't give a shit. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And like, to me, like, God, how many big moments is this guy gonna have where he shows he's a better person? That's crazy.
Yeah. Not many more in the show.
I think these are actually the last two.
And it cuts off.
JP.
Yeah, I was going to make a joke about Patsy Cline. I like this episode too much to be silly. I'm actually going to give it, because we don't get to do this often. I'm going to give it to Sawyer.
Okay, all right.
Like, in an earnest sense, is Sawyer an absolute turd? Yes. This is the most real I've seen him as a character, right? Yeah. He's got to euthanize this guy. He's not proud of it. He fucks it up. He has to live with that. I want to go off on my own and do this thing. No, you need to listen to reason. Okay, I'm going to do that. I'm a scavenger. I'm in the wild now, dude. I recognize the situation we're in. I was watching Sawyer, who I bounce off of so hard so often, and I was like, in his own way, he's definitely right now, and I really appreciated him being much more human. So yeah, I'm actually gonna earnestly give it to Sawyer.
Nice, I like it.
Adam.
I'm going with Hurley. Throughout the episode, not only did he drop Johnny Fever, which legit cracked me up, but he's, out of everybody, he's acting like he was just in a plane crash.
Yeah, holy fuck.
He's super disoriented. He oftentimes says things that don't necessarily make sense. He's trying to get a handle on what's happening. He's trying to be helpful, and knowing that he isn't, and being afraid of the bodies in the fuselage, being paranoid about the Kate thing. Like, he's still in a state of heightened, sensory overload and panic.
Yeah,
and
totally.
I like that, because compared to everybody else, they've settled into, all right, we're moving on from the crash, and Hurley hasn't. And I like that, because again, we're in day 2, 3, 4 here. Like, it's okay to still be shook.
Hurley always comes out looking good. All right, so the flip side of this coin, Lost Forever. Who sucks shit? Who do we hate? Who's last place on the island? Brian.
It's easy to say Mars right now, right? But I'm not going to say Mars. I'm going to say Sawyer, actually.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, I know that's the exact
fun.
opposite of your favorite or your MVP.
No,
I think
I love the discourse.
Sucked.
Do it.
Yeah.
And I must say, It does not matter if you took a bunch of steps for the right reason. If at the moment of peak value, you drop the ball and shoot the one last bullet into the heart, but not even hit the heart, and perforate the lung and force a man who is taking care of a dying man to then have to euthanize a guy with his own hands. Like, that is the largest mess up you could do.
Dude, it's a big mess up.
Yeah.
It's a massive mess up. And like, I'm not going to sit here and be like, yeah, he had the right reasons and stuff. I'm like, dude, then he needed to think it through a little bit more than he did. Because that is a massive, like, life-changing mess up for multiple people.
Yeah, no doubt. Yep.
You just shot him in the same abdomen wound. What did you do that for?
It's like, I've only watched movies on people dying. I'm sorry.
No, I think that's a totally
that's
fair estimate.
Yep. JP, who's your lost forever?
Dude, fuck the police. Mars is such a fucking psychopath. He's such a menace. He's such a loose cannon. Has Kate done some illegal things? Yes. Is she the fucking Boston Strangler he makes her out to be? I don't think so. You know, she's a criminal. And you are not one of the untouchables. Like, you still have protocol. Do your fucking job, Adam.
Like Brian said, it would be easy to say Edward Mars. So I'm gonna FTP 1312 ACAB. Fuck the police. I hate that guy. I loved watching him die, and I'm glad he's dead, and I would do it again.
Okay, wait. So a couple of logistics here on him. He shows up alone to take down Kate in Australia.
Yeah.
Oh no, he's not alone. He has a briefcase with 5 guns.
Yep.
Okay.
Physically alone. He is the only marshal that goes to Australia to pick her up. He takes a small armory with him in a Halliburton case.
He does. That's his partner.
Yeah, his partner.
Always bring a partner.
My name's Edward Mars, and these are my partners, Smith and Wesson.
Oh, dude, I'm so glad that Mars is dead, because otherwise him and Sawyer probably would have been really good friends.
Not to mention, it would have literally been like 4 more episodes of screaming in the background.
My lung, my abdomen, it's so rigid. My lung is so perforated. This sucks.
Like, do we have the gun? No, we don't have.
We do not have a gun.
shot him in the
Sawyer
lung.
used 1 bullet to shoot a tree frog. He used our last bullet to shoot a tree frog. So our bullets.
Well, no, then it's the race. Will Saeed build a gun out of berries, or will John Locke whittle one?
I imagine they'll collaborate on some kind of wooden blackberry cyborg
There you go,
suit
yep.
to keep him alive.
Yeah.
So that he can
Wooden berry
finger
gun
gun
collab.
Kate off the road.
That would have been some shit. After Jack gets done strangling him, Saeed runs over. I built a defibrillator out of blackberries.
he's got 2 coconuts.
What?
Guys, we should have written this television show.
Absolutely. Do we have any burning questions? Brian, I think you said you might have one.
The one I wrote down at the time was, how did he lose his arm?
Yeah.
We
I
may
don't
never
know. It's going
know.
to come back.
I don't know if they're ever going to answer, but yeah.
It
Why
flashes
was Ray
back
a
to him
one-armed
just-
man?
The
Yeah.
sheep eating the arm.
They've tasted. They've tasted human flesh. Brian, thank you so much for being on the show.
Dude, so good. So
Yeah.
good. Thank you.
Anytime.
Do you have anything you would like to plug?
Sure. First, I'd like to plug Tabula Rasa, which is an excellent salsa for all occasions. Try it with lemon corn chips, lime corn chips. It's the perfect snack.
Son of a bitch.
Second, I'd like to plug. I'm part of a gaming group that raises money for sick children. We do an event, and we're called Logical Journey. So we do an event early October, and I'll send you guys a link.
Yeah. Logical Journeys, you said it was called?
Yeah, Logical Journey.
Excellent.
We're a gaming group.
This episode will air on July 27th, so I want to say happy birthday to my sister. Her birthday will be the day after this drops.
Happy
so
birthday.
Kate.
Happy birthday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And after that, JP, what are we talking about next time?
Oh, man. You know how I said I really like Sawyer?
Yeah.
Well, next time we're going to watch season 3, episode 4, Every Man for Himself, starring Sawyer. So let's see if he can fuck this up.
That's season 3, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Here we
Tucked
go.
in for a Sawyer episode. Here she
Yep.
comes. Thanks to Brian for stopping in.
Yeah, thank you for tuning in to this episode of Lost on Lost.
Yeah. I'm Adam.
I'm JP.
Do you have any idea what's going on the show?
No.
Me neither. Lost on Lost is produced and edited by me and JP.
We wish to acknowledge that we live, work, and produce our show on occupied land.
Burbank, California is located on the traditional tribal lands of the Tongva, Chumash, Kizh, and Fernandino Tataviam peoples.
Milwaukee, Wisconsin is located on the traditional tribal lands of the Peoria, Potawatomi, Miama, and Ho-Chunk peoples.
And Lost was produced in Hawaii on the lands of the Kanaka Maoli.
Visit native-land.ca to learn more about the land you live and work on.
You can engage with us on IG, Facebook, and Twitter at Lost on Lost 1.
You can also email us at wearelostonlost@gmail.com or support us with dollar monies at coffee.com/wearelostonlost.
Thanks to Lostpedia and its community of contributors, Danny Schmitz, random.org, and as always, you the listeners for tuning in.
We're hosted at Podbean. You can hear us there or wherever you get your podcasts, except MySpace. We're not on MySpace.
Yet.